Guys, good morning. So, I think I've shared my screen. Hope you can able to see my screen. Um, if not, just ping me in the Skype so that I can reshare it. Most probably you can able to see my screen. Yes, perfect. Okay. So now I'm just opening a new PBX file. Okay, yesterday I was trying to tell you one important part. Like whenever you feel that your Power BI desktop is slow, then you need to do some steps. So there is a cache. The file will maintain some cache. We need to clear it out. Okay, so I'll show you that in the first place, because you might have to work with lot of data or lot of projects within your you know um, within your same project or within different projects. You might you might have worked with different set size of files. So what will happen, the Power BI desktop will maintain that cache. Okay, so we need to clear it out. I'll show you where. Just go to file and go to file and options and settings. Go to options. Come on, it's coming. Yeah, so here you see we need to clear this cache. Okay, by default it is what is 4 GB. Okay, 4 GB of cache it will maintain, but it's a for Q&A we'll talk about that later. Okay, question and answers. Power BI has a feature called Q&A, which works with NLP, natural language processing system. So we'll talk that later. That is nothing rocket science. It is just asking a question. You write simple English, it will give you reports, something like that. Okay, so that's how you need to clear it out. Okay, that is one way. It will help you to speed up your Power BI desktop. Okay, I just opened the empty new Power BI desktop now, and yesterday we were discussing about that carve project. So let me load that files now. I'm just opening up that as text file. Okay, um, yeah, so let me open this cost produced. Okay, it's very small data, and you see AABBCCDD, because I don't have a unique IDs here. That is my intent to show you. Some cases I told you, right, in some cases you might not have any unique records, kind of indexes, right? So that is the intent here to showcase. Okay, so let me click transform because I need to load another set of files to make it understand more. So now we are into Power Query Editor. So that file is actually loaded and data type is automatically detected. Promoted header is happened. The three steps automatically Power BI has done for us. Okay, and let me get one more CSV file, which is car sold. And again it is just same those 8 records. See, the same 8 records, A, B, B, C, C, D, D. These are the car IDs and car the number of cars sold and the year. So the same year is also there. So in 2015, A actually sold 1500, but again in 2016 they sold 2000, because year is different, but IDs are same. Here is also A, here is different. Okay, the same thing, but the intent for this data is that there is no unique record, right? So that is the intent. Let me load this. Okay, and Let me load one more file I have. Okay, I will talk this about I will talk this this file in a little while, but I'll just simply load that, and then there is no cleaning is required because data looks perfect, you know, until unless this first header as a row, then that's it. Okay, I'll just close and apply. Okay, nothing much to do with the Power Query editor there, because sometimes data will come just like this also. Okay, but if not, then ideally they will not. Okay, but for your cases, just to work with some other scenarios, you might have to create some testing data and test the scenario, and then work on your actual data. So that is the technique. I highly recommend you practice that. Okay, just create a sample data and create all these visuals. Okay, one by one, page two. I'll tell you. Okay, once I cleared out this relationship thing, then I'll just I'll tell you how to work with these visuals. So now I'm just coming to this relationship. Okay, Power BI will automatically detect the relationship. Okay, and for now I want to delete them. Okay, I'll tell you the importance of them. Yesterday we have already seen that without relationship data will looks wrong. That's perfectly fine, but here the problem with the IDs, right? There is no unique IDs. If you come back and see the data, again I'm showing you how many cars produced in each year, what type of IDs. Okay, so this one and this one. And now let me go back here and create a visual, just like a small visual. I will show two things, but anyway I'm just recreating the same scenario, but the important thing I'm going to show is something different. Okay, if there is no unique record, then what to do? That is the main thing. Okay, and now if I take this unit sold, okay, let me take another this one. See, this is wrong. It's coming all are same, but if you go back and see, this is not correct. Okay, now let me again take one more visual, the same one. ID, I'm taking vice versa. Okay, this time ID and unit sold from this table and produced from the other table. See, now if you observe, just observation is important here, nothing rocket science. You know, if I select this table, you see from car produced I have taken these two columns. Okay, and car sold I have taken the sold unit sold. And if you see, these are all actually coming same line and these are all coming actually same line, but both are same, but here they are working in a different, here they are working in different. Why? Because there is no relationship. Simply, yesterday we already discussed, if you see all values are equal, there is no relationship. But can I create a relationship directly between these two tables without this help? Is that possible? Yes, that is possible, but I want to show one more concept here before that. So that is the reason. See, I remember it was in 2019 somewhere, or 2018 somewhere. There was no many-to-many relationship. Okay, in one of the updates, Power BI has given this many-to-many relationship. So what they used to do is, what they means whoever is working in the project, what they used to do is they used to create a bridge table. What is bridge table? The unique records they will put it into some other table, and then they use it to connect to between these two tables. So that's where this table is coming into picture. Which one? The product type. If you see here, they are actually unique, A, B, C, D, and there is other field that is which is actually not required, but just we have taken it as a support. But see, A, B, C, D, these are unique. Now what you can do in this scenario, we can just give a connection to this and this to this. But if you observe, yes, we have duplicates, so that is the reason it is given many, that is perfectly fine. And here also we have duplicates, that is the reason we got this star here, that is perfectly fine. But if you observe this is very very important, guys. This, what is the flow is happening? Flow is happening this side to this side and this side to this side. Okay, we cannot do with this table at this moment, because we actually are trying to see the relationship between this table and this table. Now let me go back and see, there is no much difference at all. Okay, here or here. Why? This is important, that the flow, the filtering direction is important. So that is only flowing this side. So, and there is no relationship is happening at this moment. So what you have to do is, we have to make it a bidirectional cross filtering. Now I'll show you what. See, this cross filtering direction should be both sides. Okay, and the same way for this also. So you see here, apply security filters in both directions. Security will talk about in the row level security. There is a different concept we will discuss. Okay. Now you see, now data is happening this side to this side and this side to this side. Okay. Now the flow will happen between these two tables, because we have given the flow to both ways. Now you see it will come proper. Yeah, this is perfect. Okay, A unit sold is 2500, but actually they produced 2500. Okay, and B produced 5500 and they sold only 4500. So this is the perfect data. If you go back and check the data, that should be the data. Okay, see, let's just take A. So how many product they produced? 3500. But how many they sold for A? So this is how we need to do testing. Okay, 2500. So something like that. Okay, so this is perfect. Okay, come on, clear filter. Clear filter. Okay, clear all filters also perfectly fine. Okay, so now, but I want to show you one more thing. Without this, can't we do that? That is my question. Yes, we can do that. Let me delete this. Guys, looks like simple, but to understand this, it will make you little confused. But not to confuse, you just play with this data. I will share the support files. You play with it, and you will understand it. Okay. Now what
But
I'm.
why did we use the bidirectional?
Oh, Sushma, your voice is echoing me. I did not understand that.
Yeah, why did we go for bidirectional?
Yeah, so because the filtering should happen, right? So the filter should happen between these two tables with the help of this. So one if the data is flowing from this side to this side, nothing has to be filtered in this table. We are not using this table at all. So I mean, we will not get the expected results. So that is the reason the flow should happen both ways. If you have a duplicate records, duplicate IDs. Now I'll show you many to many relationship, because Power BI automatically, when you're trying to create the relationship between these two tables, it understands that the ID has duplicates here and here, so it's saying many to many relationship, and by default it is choosing the cross filtering direction is both, and it is giving the warning saying that This relationship has cardinality many to many. This should be only be used if it is expected that neither column id car and id car contains unique values, and that significantly different behavior of many to many relationship is understood. So if you want to learn more, then just click it. Okay, but the simple statement is this: you have a duplicate in the id, then it will be many to many. Okay, let me click OK. Now the relationship will happen between these two tables without the help of this, and you see many to many. Okay, and now you go, it's perfect result. So why did I show this? Because it was the previous scenario. You might have to work in a old project sometimes. Okay, which was developed in way back in 2018. Okay, so if you see this kind of scenario, you should be able to understand the concept. That is the first thing. And in some cases, you might also require to create a bridge table. So you should know how to use a bridge table and how to use the bidirectional cross filtering. Okay, so you should have understand these concepts clearly. If not, let me know. I will again trying to explain. Okay, with your silence I can understand there is no questions for now, but yes, definitely you will get the questions if you really practice them. Okay, now what next? The next is, let me open my let me save this project first. Power BI March 2019, many to many relationship, many to many relationship with both direction. So this is the key part here. So both direction is working. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just close that. Okay, and what is our yesterday's project which we're discussing? uh, yeah, this one, right? So seventh, let me open this. See, now I would like to show you the difference between DAX and the M code. See, in the M code, I clearly shown you that we are not going to directly work with the M code. Power BI will automatically create the M code for us through applied steps. Whatever the applied steps we apply, automatically Power BI will create the M code. So we don't create any direct M code. What is M code? Microsoft code or mashup code, they will say a lot of words, but whatever it is, that is M code. Okay, M code is a language. Okay, and which is actually in the Power Query editor. Okay, which is actually in the Power Query editor, and we don't directly deal with the M code, but if you read it, we can understand it. If you read it, we can understand it. But in some cases, you might tweak here and there with some letters or words, something like that, but not that ideal scenario. Okay, but I would like to show you the difference between DAX and M code. So what is DAX? DAX is a data analytical expressions. Okay, but M code is used for the data cleansing purpose, right? So what we do here in the data transformation, we do data cleaning part. So here automatically M code will be do here. Okay, so we don't do anything, but if you want to understand M code, there is an option called advanced query editor. Okay, if you go and check, let's take this, and if you go and click this advanced query editor, you see all those applied steps in the query editor. See, these are all the applied steps. Simple. This is a source, population combined is a source, and removed columns, replace values. This ash, why ash? Because there is a space. So without space, there is no ash is required. So this is the name of the step, and this is the action. What is happened? Okay. So there is an option. If you don't see these numbers and you see this one, there is an option. You just tick all of them. You will get this. Okay. Just to understand, nothing else we do here. Okay. But sometimes we require to check our source whether it's connected to parameter or not. Then that time we will go and check the advanced editor. That is the only thing. Clear? And now I want to show you one thing here. Let that load. Okay, I want to create a column. Okay, so let me tell you the differences here and commonality here. Okay, what are the common things that it has? I mean, DAX versus okay. So now M code versus DAX. Okay, M code is used in the Power Core editor, nowhere else, only Power Core editor. Or query editor, whatever it is. Okay, editor, and this one used in the data modeling. And what is the use of M code? To cleanse, to transform the data. Okay, to transform the data. But this one to create the insights. You may ask the question, interviewer might ask the question, what is the main difference between the DAX and M code? You can simply tell that M code is used in the Power Core editor and DAX is used for the insights, to get the insights out of your data. What is the insights? How many total, what is the total population? Do I get that in the M code? No. What is the average population? Will I get it here? No. So some kind of calculations if required, that can be done using DAX. Okay, so that is the main intent of the docs. And there is a similarities. Okay, we can create a column here and we can also create here column. Okay, and we can create the table here and we can also create the table here. And here extra we will create the measure. Measure cannot be created here. We cannot create the measure here. What is measure? Measure is a one value. Okay, just total population is a value. Okay, you cannot create that total population as a column, right? So it will be a measure. It's a single value, scalar value. Okay, so that we called as a measure. Okay, so but the commonality is two things. A column can be created here and here, a table can be created here and here. Okay, but when to use what? This is the biggest challenge. When to use what? When should I use to create the column in the M code? When should I use the DAX to create the column? Okay, this is the really challenging and there is no proper answer, but you can based on your requirement we can choose, and the simple answer you can tell that columns, it depends basically. Actually we should not give any straightforward answer if interviewer asks you to give some answer, but you can diplomatically tell that in our project, as part of a best practice, across all the projects, our client has decided to go with the custom column in DAX only. Okay, something like that. It's not mandatory. You can create here and here, but the company has decided to go with this best practice, so you can simply escape from that. Okay, so that is the key part. Now I would like to show this part, the column part. I will create the column here in the M code and also in the DAX. Let's see how that looks like. Come on. This prefetch also we need to do, because prefetch. For your laptop, maybe every 1 month or 2 months you need to do this percentage and prefetch, so that it will get refresh. I mean, it will have a fresh fresh mind, because it stores a lot of temporary data. Okay, somebody print. Okay, yeah. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one more column here. So do this for skip. Yeah, done. I'm going to add a column here. Yes, we know we have a option called add a column, and I'm going to create a custom column. Okay, um, let that open. The, yeah, so the column name is something like that. Let's keep that name. I just want to just combine these two columns. Okay, yeah, simply you just select and click OK. It's loading. Okay, so that's how it is. Very simple to create a custom column. Okay, but we have multiple options to add a new column, right? We can add by example, we can add by conditional column. Okay, using functions, all those things are available here. Okay, but again it is depend on the requirement. Let's say you might have to work with this conditional columns in the data itself. Okay, so you might have to create from here. So that is the reason you should use a diplomatic word. Okay, what it will come without space. Okay, 04 without space and baby, something like that. But if you want space, then what next? I'll show you. Come on. From next project onwards we will take little data, because I want to show you some kind of real time, so that is the reason this project is chosen. And so far we understand that bidirectional cross filtering and the many to many relationship. Okay, with that cars produced and cars sold project. Okay, and now we are trying to understand the column creation between M code versus DAX. Okay, now let me actually give a name that instead of custom I will give you this name, M code test. This is a column name. And let's say if I want a space here, what I can do is put ampersand and double quote is a text, and then the ampersand is a connection and connection. Okay, And if you want something else between here space or hyphen or anything, you can use it here. Okay, see, there is no syntactical errors until unless you see this right tick, you can do anything. Okay, click OK. See, and the M code is actually written table dot add column. Okay, removed column 1. The previous step is removed column 1, and M code test is a column name and each age group and age category. So this is the M code. So very easy to understand, but we won't do anything with that code. Okay, just to understand, that's it. But this that is not the same with the DAX. DAX we need to understand. We need to create different kinds of calculations. Statistical functions. Lot of functions are there. Textual functions, aggregate functions. Okay, lot of functions are there. I'll show you how to work with it, and I'll show you a simple technique. And if you know that concepts, you can work with that, because it is a huge functions. Basically, 1,000 plus functions are there. So it again depends on your project. So if you know how to use DAX, you can simply go and search there and you can work with. See, so this is how it is. The data will come with a underscore. And now let me load this data, and same column I will create there also. Where? In the DAX. Come here. It's loading. So before that, I would like to give an assignment. The assignment is simple. Take your own data, okay? Otherwise, I will give you some file. Use that file and try to create all these visuals. All these visuals. You just experiment it. You just go and check this formatting tab. It is easy, just like Excel, Word, okay, formatting kind of stuff. You need to play with it, okay? But I will tell you some shortcuts and some key parts, but you need to play with it. That is highly recommendable advice. Okay? You have to. Simply create multiple pages. Create, in one page you create two to three visuals max. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 pages or 12 pages you can create like this. Okay, it's still loading. So you can create, click plus 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 plus. You will get those many sheets in the same Power BI file, and you can use these different visuals for different use cases. You simply should not use same columns, okay, but use different columns, and you should get some kind of benefit with that visual. Okay, you just try for that. It's not mandated that for every visual you will get some kind of benefit. You just try to do that, and try to do these formatting options. Okay, and not to worry, in the real time, end user or business manager or your team lead will give you the even color type, which color you want to use, which logo you want to use, which font size you need to use for header round, what is the font size, everything they will give you. If not, you can ask. So that is what you no need to use your brain to create the best visuals. Okay, you simply have to ask the questions. Okay, what font should I use, what header you want to see here, how many filters do you want. So these many questions you may ask, but they will give you before that. Okay, so that's where it is. If the project is just started and even nobody knows how to proceed, so in that case, yes, there is a discussion should happen to understand what is their requirement. Okay, so but creating visuals are easy, but it's not that easy. Okay, customer will be very keen about the colors, fonts, okay, size, okay, the interactions, everything is very very important. So if you're working with a visual point of view, you should be very careful. Okay, for data, we can do whatever it is and we can tell the story and we can come back and we can recreate, but end users will not be okay with the small mistakes. So that is a little warning for you. So that is the reason I am telling you to create all these visuals, and use cases, how to, when to, use what visual. So this is one of the key part. You have to prepare a story for that. Why you use that visual? Prepare a story. My client want this way, I suggested this, or he suggested me that. Okay, so that is the reason we have used this visual. So that's how you should prepare the story. So that's how the user story also will be there in the Scrum call or sprint development. Okay, now what I have done in the age category, I have created a column. Let me check. Come on. M code test. So now let me go and create a new column here in the same table. Let me see the difference. New column. Okay. Let me create this. I have selected this image category and see the column is actually created, and come on, let that load the formula bar. Yeah, so simple. The syntax is column name is equal to here the DAX test. Okay, now I want to use the same columns. Okay, what is that? Age group and age group category, right? So what to do? Okay, simply we can do the same way. Okay, but age group. Okay, I just typed that AG, and the age group column is actually come, and I just click that tab. Okay, and next is what? Concatenation, right? So use this concatenation and text. Let's see whether this work or not, but ideally it should work. And what is this? Age group category. Okay, just close this. No, not required, because open bracket is not required. But this is not the ideal case to work with the DAX, but let me show you whether it will create or not. Yeah, so now if you click this, see, it's working perfectly, it's working. Okay, there is no difference at all. See, everything is proper. But in the DAX, actually we should use the function. Okay, this is not the way to create. Let me create one more column. Okay, DAX test 1. See, I can create a new column from here and here also. No, nothing to be confused. What is here? It's a data view, and this is the report view. Okay, now I'm creating one more column, which is DAX test 1. Here what I'm going to do, but I'm going to use the same two columns but in a different style. See, DAX, as I told you, there are functions. We should use the function. Okay, the functions are something like this: concatenate. Okay, so if you just type con, you see lot of functions are coming, but still I'm using the first one, concatenate. Okay, see, if you, once I press the tab button, now the IntelliSense is open. One, if you want to use that concatenate, you need to pass two arguments. One is text1 comma text2. Okay, what is our text1? Age group and age category, right? So two things. Now what is the first text? Text is age group and comma. See, once I put the comma, the text2 is open. The first one is gone and the second one is lightened. Okay, now what is the next one? Age group, age group, age group, age category. Okay, so that is age group and this is category. See, now once I close this, perfect. So this is how we need to use, but there is a issue with this. In the concatenate we use only two values, but this will not come as expected, right? There is no space or hyphen. If I want that with this function, how to do? Again I need to use a nested concatenate. Here I need to use concatenate. Okay, concatenate comma text1. Here what I'll do, I'll use some this. Okay, and text2 is that. So here I'll put whatever I want to put. Okay, something like that. Okay, see, this bracket is for this and that bracket is for that. Now see, this is perfect. Okay, so this is called a DAX function, and this is how we will create a DAX functions. Okay, now this is a column creation, but you see there is a table tools and column tools, right? In the table tools you see measure also, measure, quick measure. We will talk this quick measure later, but measure, as I said, measure is a, to create the value. Okay, some of the sales or some of the profit, whatever it is you want to measure some quantity, you need to use this measure. Okay, we'll come to that point now, but now you clearly understand what is the difference between M code and DAX. Okay, we can achieve the same thing with these two things, but depend on our requirement we might have to choose the options, whether should I go with the M code or should I go with the DAX. Okay, but DAX is to create the insights. You should remember, whenever somebody touch you in the midnight also, you should say what is the use of DAX. DAX is to use to get the insights of your data. Simply, that is a statement you should come out without your mind intervention. Okay, DAX is used to create the insights of your data. Okay, it could be measures, it could be anything. Okay, so that's how it is. See, this total population, this calculator symbol, right? This is called measure. See, the calculate column symbols are something like this. If you see the symbol before that column, which means that is a calculated column. Okay, if you click that, then you can see the functions, the syntax. Okay, the code we can see here. Okay, so now coming to this part, now you can create n number of pages. Okay, n number of pages here, and what you can do is you can duplicate the page, you can rename the page, you can delete the page and hide the page. Okay, if you hide it, it will not really hide, but it will hide when you deploy that. When you deploy, end user cannot see that, but when he download the PBX file, he can able to see this hidden page. Okay, I will tell you the use case of this, when to hide and why to hide. Okay, but for now, this is what we can do. And duplicating page is very useful because I'll tell you, the page one we have already created, and now I want the same into another page here, and simply I want to use this instead of that. No, wait. I did not select any of this one. I'm selecting this and then changing to some other, okay, whatever it is. I want this visual, something like that. Okay, I want something this visual, and this one I will change it to other this one, or a table. Okay, whatever it is. So something like that we can use a duplicate, because it will save our time, because in one page you can do these formatting options. Okay, and because we have not selected anything, that is the reason it's not come. It will come let that. Okay, load. Yeah, now if you go to this formatting, you see lot of options are available. Okay, so once you do that and use this duplicate, and that will get save your time. Okay, but there is another way to save your time, but this is what I'm telling you. Use of the duplicate is something like this. Okay, you can use this page 1 and page 2, same data but different styles of reports. See, we created a, you just give a meaningful name, that visual name or anything else. Okay, you can insert the text box also for the name purpose. I'll show you. See, these are the basics about the visualization. Okay, I'm just giving a high level basics how to create the visuals, but not actually the real time. I'm just telling you. What is this? Yeah. Come on. Hmm. So my intention was this. Hmm. So simply what to do is, I've deleted wantedly. Okay, because it is making a lot of noise. Time waste. So what I'm doing is, I'm going to do a text box. Why? To write the name of the report, something they want, something like this. Okay, population analysis or population insights, Asia. Asia, right? Asia population analysis. So just select this and change it to a font size bigger. Okay, and maybe lesser. Yeah, and make it somewhat bigger and make it bold. Underline whatever the wish you want to do. We can do that, something like that, and we can put it somewhere in the middle. Okay, so something like that, and here prepare the logo and insert the logo. Whatever they wish to do, we can do that. Okay, this is one part of creating a name of the visual, and we can do lot many things, but for now I just want to give this. And but my suggestion is to you that you just have to create as many pages as possible with all these use cases. Okay, that is one of the most important part. Anyway, I will tell you the best practices. I will tell you, almost all the, techniques, shortcuts. But before that, you should definitely do that. Then only you will understand the importance of the technique. Okay. And what else? What else we can discuss? Yeah. So before that, let me introduce one more visual that is called slicers. Okay. So this is a slicer. Okay. Uh, Actually, slicers are two types. One is text slicer. Three types: numbers and date. Okay. Text, number, and date. Okay. So now let me go to this, and you want to just analyze the data based on the region. So you see the regions. Okay. And you see this is a textual filter, right? So you see only two things: list and drop down. What is list? This is list. And if you want to go drop down, you will save some space. And see, this is what it looks like. And if you click it, you will get that drop down. Okay. Remember this, for all filters, you will get this list and drop down by default. But if you see calendar, I think we don't have date. But if you have a date, I would have shown that, but I will show you in a different fashion, different project. But for now, what I'm going to take is I'm going to take this year. Okay, year is number. Yeah, year filter. See, year filter. So what is this? This filter is basically this is actually comes into table. So you need to just check which visual is actually chosen. So now I'm clicking into slices. So now you see, so this is how it is. See here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For numbers, you will get 5 types. Okay, one is list by default. For any textual or any other, you will get this list, and the drop down for something like this. And one more thing is between. So this is very useful. Very, something like this. And you have a less than or equal to. Okay, by default this is the lowest one. We can have some simply this. Okay. So, and for numbers you will see this, but dates, for dates is really very useful. Filters will come, but I will talk that later. But so this is how it is. So filters, but the beauty of the Power BI is that visuals will interact with each other. Okay. So that is the main benefit of this Power BI. Okay. Now, see, in 1954, all regions, Europe. See, that's how you need. In 1954, Europe, what is the required information? So this is how you can get it. And let's say you want total population. I want to see total population for my selection. So just create a card. Okay, put a card somewhere here. Let me make some adjustment. But actually this is not the way to do in the real time. Okay, I'm trying to introduce these visuals only, not the actual way of development. Okay, so here total population, you just drag and drop here. See, in the Europe, In 1954, this is the population. Okay, and let's change it to another country, North America. See, it will change. So something like that. You can select anything, it will happen. Okay, one more important point is that, okay, so when you are in the list, see, I'm telling you, when you are in the list and there's an option in the formatting, okay, vertical versus horizontal. See, this is only possible when you are in the list. Now I will make this as a drop down, okay, and let me see whether that is possible or not. See, in the general there is no vertical versus horizontal, but if I change this to list, just observe guys, see, orientation came. Okay, this is very very important. Now just check, the orientation will go this part. If I change to drop down, see, that is gone. So which means the orientation will come only for the list. So this is also one of the useful technique. I mean, for end user to check different regions, something like that, and they can play with this. Okay, if they ask, then you should be ready. You should be able to do it like this. Okay, so this is called vertical slicer. Okay, this is called vertical slicer. Okay, by default they will be horizontal. No. By default they will be vertical, and this is horizontal. See, sorry, this is horizontal. Yeah. Yeah.
This is horizontal, right?
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. So this is horizontal and this is vertical. Uh, so this is the importance of slicers. We will see date slicers, but in interviewer he will ask you a question: how many types of filters are that are available? Okay, so you can simply tell that there are filters. See, there are filters on visuals, filters on this page, filters on all pages, and apart from that slices, apart from that parameters, apart from that DAX filter, lot of filters. Okay, a visual can filter each other. Edit interactions is also a filter. Okay, so if an interviewer will ask about filters, you can give this answer, then you almost select. So that's how you need to give the answer. Should not only tell these three filters. If you tell this filter, means you are just prepare the interview question. That's how you feel. He will just continue. Okay, that's okay to tell these filters. I'm not saying that this is not correct. This is correct, but that is just okay. But if you give some extra flavor, saying that yes, apart from that visual level filter, page level filter, all page level filter, we do have slices, okay, and edit interactions, okay, and what else did I say? Parameters, okay. So all these things, DAX filters, okay. This is how you need to give the answer, so that you will just understand your subject maturity. Okay, so from tomorrow onwards we will focus on DAX as well as the visualizations, and we will deploy small projects, and we will create the bigger one. Okay, any questions? I will share that supporting files. Yesterday actually for this support files were not there, Sushma, so I am sharing today for that matters. Where is the source? New folder. So play with these files. Okay. this PBX file also for your reference. Okay. If you want, I can also give you this. This is version 0.2. So let me save this way. Save as. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. Maybe for Ugadi we will be on vacation, right? So there won't be any class on 13th. Maybe on 14th also. Okay, 13th, 14th. I might not take any class, but I'll confirm anyway. We have Monday, right? So Monday I'll tell you like what is the plan for 13th and 14th. Okay. So and for Saturday, actually, I'll tell you. Okay. But what about tomorrow? Okay. Yeah, tomorrow we'll have a class. Okay. If I don't give any update until end of the day, probably there will be a class. Okay. But not to confuse. Without any player information, I might not cancel until unless there is a huge distraction, something like technical issues or any health issues, something like that. Okay. So my highly recommendable suggestion is time is not your most valuable thing. Focus is your most valuable thing. Be focused. Ask questions. Try to make a friends within the group and just take each other's assignment. I will try to create one more service. Okay, everybody should have that four roles and four browsers. You need to log in with the different roles with different browsers and then try to see the service. So that is also one of the most important. Okay, so if somebody wants a real productive and quick results, then start working from first day itself, so that you will be familiar with the technology and tools. Okay, guys, thank you and have a great day.